All right, everyone, welcome to this week's live training. I am Jeff Newman, back with another training. This week's training is a special one. This is probably the most important one that I have done so far, and probably one of the more important ones that I'm gonna honestly ever do. I'm gonna kind of how do you say, pull back the curtain on things and give you my 5 keys to actually make 2023 your fittest year yet. Now, this goes for honestly anyone who isn't working out now, anyone who is working out now, who's struggling to get the results they want, whatever it is, this training will help you out. So let's dive into the training. I'm going to share my screen. I got a little presentation as always. Let's see here, slideshow. Play from start. All right, here we go. Your 5-step plan, or your 5 keys to making 2023 your healthiest year yet, your fittest year yet, whatever you want to call it. Here we go. So why is 23 going to be different than any other year? Well, instead of maybe choosing a popular diet in January, which is like what a lot of people do, January 1 or maybe January 2, we're going to hop on the keto bandwagon, or we're going to hop on the paleo bandwagon, and we're going to be super consistent for that first month, or we're going to do dry January on top of that, and we're going to get all these results in January. And then by the end of February, we regain the weight that we lost in January. So instead of choosing a popular diet for January, instead of maybe signing up for a useless gym membership, where one of the gyms that's, I'm a gym owner, I can't bash that too much, but one of the gyms that maybe you do your own thing at, that maybe you sign up for the first 14 days and then don't go after that, but you keep paying for the rest of 2023 and giving up by February. Let's go with a plan that is proven for success. Honestly, these are the same keys that I basically give all of my clients. Obviously, the more in depth when you become a client, but these are the keys, and you can take this information that I'm going to present tonight, build your own plan using these 5 keys, and make your own plan for success in 2023. So here we go. The 5-step plan: set your goals, your workouts, your nutrition, your lifestyle, and finally, accountability. Those are the 5 keys. End of presentation, done. All right, just kidding. We're going to dive into details here, but those are the 5 steps that we are going to cover in great detail here. All right, so let's actually look at an example. What is 12 weeks in 2023? Let's start at January 2nd. Obviously, if you're watching this presentation closer to January 2nd, or you want to pick a different date, maybe you're watching this after January 2nd, the recording, you might want to pick a date, but pick 12 weeks and write it down. That's step number 1. People go into 2023 being like, well, I'm going to get started. 2023, I'm going to start working out. They don't actually put together any sort of plan. They just kind of say, I'm going to work out in 2023. But if you actually put together a plan, pick out 12 weeks at a time and set up a plan, you're so much more prepared to set yourself up for success than you would be if you're just like, well, 2023, I'm going to start working out. Because that never happens, right? You've probably said that for the last 5 years. All right. So 12 weeks at a time. I'm going to look at January 2nd through March 27th. So step number 1, set your goals. What is your big goal? What do you want to achieve in 2023? Do you want to lose a certain amount of weight? If you're looking at that 12-week period of time, I usually suggest like 1 to 2 pounds lost per week. It can range anywhere from like half a pound up to some people can lose 3 pounds per week. It just kind of depends what your starting point is. But if you're looking at 1 to 2 pounds per week, that means by March 27th, you're 12 to 24 pounds down if you're looking to lose weight. All right. Now, obviously, that varies from person to person, depending on where you're starting from, as always. But, that's huge. That's a great starting point just by March 27th. And then you can do it again for the next 12 weeks and do it again after that. Or do you want to lose inches off your waist? Maybe that's another key goal for you. Maybe you want to see muscle definition and put on more muscle. Or maybe you just want to feel healthier and actually see change in the mirror, because that's what it comes down to, right? Feeling your best and looking your best and actually being healthy. All right. So I always try to find the motivation behind this. What is your motivation behind these goals? Is it a fear-based motivation, or is it a future-based motivation? A fear-based motivation is more on one where it's like, man, I don't want to get unhealthy, or I don't want to become that person who, if I keep going down this path, I'm going to become. It's sort of that fear of not becoming that person that you don't want to be. And then the future-based motivation is something like that figure that you want to be in the future. Where do you want to be 12 weeks, 24 weeks, 52 weeks from now, going into 2024? Use that as your motivation as well. What future self do you want to be? And then write these down, write everything down. The more details that you can actually write down, the more likely you are to do it. In fact, there's a stat that says you're 42% more likely to achieve your goal if you actually write it down daily. Yes, that's a lot of work, but hey, if you're serious about your goals, why not give it a try? You know, what's it going to hurt? It takes a couple of minutes to write down your goals every single day. Type it in your phone, whatever it is. Type it in your phone and read it every single morning. Remind yourself on a daily basis what your goals are. And then take starting photos. I'm going to review that at the end of today as well, but take starting photos so you can actually track your progress and see progress. All right, sorry, I'm going to go off on a little tangent, but so many people don't track their progress. So they go through a program and they have no idea if they even improved. So track your progress with some photos. All right, number 2, work out 3 to 5 days per week. Life-changing, right? This is groundbreaking evidence to losing weight. No, not at all. But I'm going to get more detailed into what those workouts actually look like, because you can say you're going to work out 3 days a week and you just go to the gym and yeah, they don't know what to do. So you got to include strength training. That is kind of your base. You got to include some conditioning and you got to include some stretching. Stretching is very important as well. Now, your definition of a workout might have to change. If you can't get to the gym 3 to 5 times per week for an hour or more or whatever it is, then reduce the time. You can still get a great workout in 20 minutes. All right, so 20 to 60 minutes each workout, 3 to 5 days per week, including strength training, conditioning, and stretching. You should set what days you're going to work out every single week and write that down or put it in your calendar or whatever it is. Do it on a Sunday, and for the next 7 days, plan your workout days and get them done. All right, again, write it down. You're going to be so much more likely to actually follow through if you actually write it down. All right, continued with your workouts. Let's look at that strength training. In this triangle that I have here, strength training is that base. Your workouts should be based off of strength training. That should be your base of your training. It builds muscle throughout your body, not just your lower body if you're doing some sort of cardio. The more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn at rest. It boosts your metabolism. It fixes everyday pains. If you have back pains, you can do specific exercises to strengthen certain muscles so you have better posture and better muscle endurance throughout the day so you're not so achy and your lower back doesn't hurt or whatever it is. And you can be strong enough for daily activities, just simple things as in like picking up groceries and carrying groceries, or carrying your kid around, or picking up your kid, or just doing these daily tasks. The stronger you are, the more endurance throughout the day that you're going to have. But the weaker you are, the more tired you're going to get throughout the day, which with each task that you do. So by the end of the day, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I have no energy. And it's because you're not strong enough. You should get stronger. All right. So strength training is the base of your training program. Now we're going to add in some conditioning. I like to do more of a high intensity because it boosts metabolism. It burns more calories in a shorter period of time. You can do a 10 to 20 minute high intensity workout or like circuit training workout. We're going to dive a little deeper in here. And you're going to burn a ton of calories. And that's just going to help get your calorie burn up. Again, it helps boost your metabolism, which means you're going to burn more calories and it improves your cardiovascular health. Yes, strength training is great. Conditioning is great. If you do too much of either, it's going to take away from the other. That's why I still like to include the conditioning with my strength training to improve my cardiovascular health, because I like to be active throughout the day and I want good cardiovascular health. But on the flip side of things, I don't want to do too much conditioning because then that takes away from my strength training, from building muscle. It actually hurts any sort of strength. If you're doing too much conditioning, it actually hurts your strength training gains because your body's just looking to burn whatever it has. So you're not going to get the best benefit from your strength training. So you got to balance those right. Strength training more, and then conditioning on top of that, and then stretching at the top, of course, to recover. All right, so diving a little deeper into the strength training. How do you set up your program? Well, if you're looking at like 3 to 5 days per week, ideally you're hitting anywhere from like 8 to 20 sets. This is actually key information that I didn't write down here. 8 to 20 sets per muscle to improve and to put on more muscle and to get stronger. Now that varies from person to person, depending on your fitness level. But how do you set up a program? Your strength training program, if you're looking at 3 days per week, one of the classics that you can do is a push, so like a bench press or overhead press, a pull, so like a row or a deadlift, picking something off the ground, a pulling motion, and then a squat. Okay, that's 3 days right there that you can focus your workouts on. You can also look at an upper and lower body split. So one day do upper body, the next day do lower body, then upper body, then lower body. And then you can also split it up with your strength and conditioning. How often should you do strength training? Well, I mean, you can include strength training every single day. So if you're looking at 3, 4, or 5 days, include strength training for the first half of the workout, or even include a full strength training day, 1 or 2 days per week. And then the second half of your workout for a couple of days of the week can be conditioning based. And as I mentioned, that we're going to dive into, your strength can be 15 to 20 minutes, and then your conditioning can also be 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be like an hour and an hour on the treadmill or something like that. All right. And then use whatever you want. You can do barbells, you can do dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance bands, or even just your body weights. And I have a couple examples here of some strength training workouts, 3 to 4 sets, picking a few exercises, one compound lift like a squat or like a deadlift, or even like a bench press or something like that. And then including some other work as well, some dumbbell rows, overhead press. And these are just some examples. It doesn't have to be exactly this. But my point is just pick a few exercises, pick 3 to 4 sets. You can get great progress just doing that in 15 to 20 minutes. All right. If you have longer, you can add in more exercises. All right. Now on to conditioning. As I mentioned, high intensity circuits, whatever it is. There's a couple example here. In my conditioning, I like to use full body exercises and also functional movements. So like squats or deadlifts, picking something up off the ground. Basically everything is a functional movement, but I like to use more full body functional movements like a squat to a press, or again, like a deadlift or things like that are going to mimic day-to-day activities. They burn more calories because you're using more muscles. It improves strength, your endurance, and boosts your metabolism. So there's a few different ways you can do this, include your conditioning. Something like a circuit, super simple. Pick a few exercises, do 4 rounds, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Work hard for the 40 seconds, get 20 seconds to recover. And you can pick any sort of exercises. It doesn't have to be the ones on there. You can also do something like 20 minutes and just pick 4 exercises and keep cycling through those for the 20 minutes. All right. And then there's also the steady state conditioning. That's going to be your go for a run for 20 minutes, hop on a bike for 20 minutes, things like that. You can include that once a week. It's going to burn calories. It's not really going to be that boosting metabolism cardio that these other forms of cardio will be. All right, moving on. So how do you combine strength and conditioning? I kind of went over this. Pick a few exercises, do 4 sets of your strength. That's going to take 15, 20 minutes. Then add on your 15, 20 minutes of conditioning, some high intensity stuff or whatever you want to do. And then if you have time at the end, throw in some core. Perfect setup for conditioning. You got your strength, or perfect setup for your workout. You got your strength, you got your conditioning, you got your core. All right. Now for probably the most important part of this presentation, we're going to dive into our nutrition part. So how to follow a sustainable nutrition program. This is key number 3. So my first point is that diets are not sustainable. Instead of, like I said at the beginning, instead of choosing a diet for 30 days, losing weight, and then regaining it, make changes that will actually last. My nutrition principles that I teach my clients are to improve the quality of your food, and this is customized to you. This isn't like some set plan. This is all customized to you, what foods work best for you, what you can digest, things like that. Then eating the right quantity. This obviously comes in handy, looking at your calories and your macronutrients, your protein, your carbs, your fat. What's going to make you feel the best? And finally, what's going to be most sustainable? Having that balance in your life. All those 4 keys, those 4 principles are what gets results. All right, diving a little bit deeper here. Nutrition quality. What is the basis of this? Eat real foods 80 to 90% of the time. That's kind of a guideline that I like to give my clients. What does that look like? Anything natural, really. Meats, eggs, dairy. Yes, you can include dairy. Fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains. I don't care if you have grains. You don't have to give up bread completely or anything like that. Just eat natural foods 80 to 90% of the time. Cut out processed foods. And honestly, if you just did that, you're probably going to lose weight if you're looking at losing weight. Now, and then the other side of things, the 10 to 20% can come from something like processed foods, like having a weekend treat meal, I like to call it. Instead of having a whole weekend full of bad food, have that weekend treat meal or eat out on Wednesdays. That's what I personally do. We go out on Wednesdays, we get a poke bowl, which yes, is still pretty healthy, but I make it a little unhealthy by getting the spicy mayo sauce and things like that. But eat out on Wednesday nights. Don't cut out all bad foods. It's not sustainable to do. So you got to find that balance. 80-90% of the time, stay away from processed foods. 10 to 20% of the time, include some processed foods, and bam. All right, that's key number one. Principle number two, nutrition quantity. Obviously, we got to look at quantity if we want to lose weight. Your calories burned need to be more than what you eat. Damn, I did not get a hyperlink on that. But your first step is to figure out how many calories you burn in a day. I put a website on there, but it didn't pop up as a link. Honestly, you can Google search, calculate my daily calories, and I think this one might be the first one that pops up. It's a good one to use. You got to figure out how many calories you burn in a day as an estimate. Then you need to eat 10% less than that. So you need to take that calories you burn in a day and times it by 0.9, which is going to be 90%, which is subtracting that 10%. And that's how many calories you are going to eat. Do this every day, you're going to lose weight. Do this 3 days a week and then eat way off 4 days a week, you're not going to lose weight. So you got to do it every day. Got to stay consistent there. And then 1 pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. So if you take that, 3,500 calories spread out to 7 days is a 500 calorie deficit for 7 days a week. That's a big deficit. It's not exact science with that because there's a lot of factors that build into that, like building muscle and things like that. So I just wanted to give that as to share some information that you got to stay in a deficit consistent to actually lose body fat. So how do you actually look at that? You got to track what you eat. I like using MyFitnessPal. So download MyFitnessPal. It's 100% free to use. There is a paid version. You can get away with using the free version. Plug in your calories that you just counted. And then my next step is the plug-in protein. I always suggest 0.8 to 1.0 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to try to eat 200 grams of protein or 160, anywhere from 160 to 200 grams of protein. And you can plug that into your goals on MyFitnessPal. And then the rest of your calories, you can just split between carbs and fats. That's going to get you started. And honestly, that's going to get results. If you can follow those key things right there, the nutrition quality, getting rid of processed foods 80 and 90% of the time and eating natural foods, and then staying in a calorie deficit, eating the right amount of calories, and then hitting your protein, bam, like it doesn't matter how many fats or carbs you really have, like you're going to see results following those key three things right there. All right, so if you take anything from this presentation, take those three things. 89% of the foods that you eat are not processed. You're going to stay in a calorie deficit, 90% of the calories that you burn in the day, and then you're going to hit your protein every single day. You do that, you're going to lose weight. All right, moving on. So there's more to this, of course, when it comes to nutrition quantity, a little bit more finer details here. It really depends on like where you're starting from as well. So if you're someone who has tried to diet for the last like 5 years or something like that, you may have like jacked up your metabolism. I call this metabolic restoration, where we actually have to reverse your metabolism. It's kind of called reverse dieting, if you've ever heard of that, where we actually have to increase your calories to get you back to like a homeostasis, to get your body functioning at 100%. Then we can enter a weight loss stage. Because right now, if you're already eating like 1,200 calories, how are we going to keep going lower? Like it's not the deficit problem, it's your metabolism problem. So we need to actually jack up your calories, get your body back to functioning at 100%. Then once it's at 100%, it's feeling good, then we can start looking into a calorie deficit. So that's something to keep in mind as well if you're someone who's tried to diet for the last few years. How long should you track for? Because obviously tracking is really tedious. It's really tough to do, especially if you have kids, you're making meals for kids, things like that, or eating out. You can track every day if you're that serious about it. Then you can, this is kind of the hierarchy that I do. You track every day for a few weeks, then you can reduce it down to 5 days per week, but at least one of those days has to be on the weekend because the weekends tend to be where people screw up. Then after that, you can reduce it down to 3 days a week. Again, one of those days has to be a weekend day, right? And then from there, if you're starting to feel good, if you're getting results without tracking, you're feeling good, you're staying consistent, that's all that matters, right? You don't have to track. All right, so it's kind of weaning yourself off of there, but tracking at the start for every day is going to be a great lesson for you. All right, and then how long should you stay in a deficit for? This varies from person to person. I just wanted to touch on this. This is kind of getting way deeper into the program, but how long should you stay in a deficit for? It really depends on how you're doing with your progress, how you're doing with your mindset, how you're doing with your energy levels. This is all factors that you have to check in with yourself on a weekly or monthly basis. But generally speaking, if you can do 8 to 12 weeks in a calorie deficit, you probably want to take a break and get back up in calories to give your body a little bit break from a diet to reset and things like that. Okay. All right, moving on. All right. Key number 4, support your goals with your lifestyle. You got to make sacrifices for your goals. I hate to say it. I wish I could be like, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, keep living your life the same way, and you're going to lose weight. But there might be some sacrifices that you have to make, because obviously what you're doing now is not getting the results that you want. So you got to make some sort of sacrifices. If you need to work out in the early morning, then you got to go to bed early. Turn off the TV and get to bed. Stop surfing on your phone, put your phone away and get to sleep so you can actually wake up earlier. Because trust me, a lack of sleep consistently, it might work out at first, going to bed at 11 or 12 p.m. or 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. and trying to wake up and work out at 6 a.m. It might work for the first week, but you're going to burn yourself out. You've got to get to bed earlier. All right. If you don't want to cook after work, then meal prep or find a go-to spot that you can pick up a healthy meal. All right. You've got to make those sacrifices. Do you have people in your house that are not following your plan, especially with nutrition? Well, then organize your kitchen. Spend some time organizing your kitchen. Be like, all right, this cupboard is going to be for those bad foods, but I'm not going to go in that cupboard unless I know I'm having a bad food. I'm going to go in this other cupboard to grab my food. All right. Or drawers in the fridge. Simple things, because you don't want to keep tempting yourself by opening the same cupboard, seeing the Oreos right there, and then your healthy snack right next to it. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to be like, well, what's a couple Oreos? And then you're going to keep going back. And then, yeah, you know what happens. All right. And then burn more calories outside of your workouts. It's not all about the workouts. As I kind of presented there, you can do a 20-minute workout and it's totally fine. But I'd suggest burning more calories outside of your workouts. Go for some walks. Go for 3 10-minute walks, morning, afternoon, and evening, or 2 15-minute walks. Try to get 30 minutes of walking in. Throw on a podcast or something to listen to. Add more movement to your day. You can burn an extra 200 to 500 calories. You can boost your mood. It's good to get outside, get some fresh air, take your mind off things. All right. And then finally, have some accountability. Get a coach, a workout partner, a friend, a family member to hold you accountable for your goals. If you're doing this on your own, I hate to say it, it's probably not going to happen. I don't want to be negative about this, but it doesn't have to be a coach. Get, a partner or someone who wants to do this with you. If you don't have someone, if you can't find someone, then get a coach. A coach is going to be a perfect way to have that accountability to actually follow through. And I got these stats here. I love these stats. I've used this in a couple presentations from the Association for Financial Counseling and Planning Education. Having an idea or goal, you're 10% likely to complete that goal. If you consciously decide that you will do it, you're 25% more likely, or 25% likely to accomplish the goal. If you decide when you will do it, you're 40% likely to reach that goal. If you plan how to do it, you're 50% likely to go. That's only 50-50 right there, just by planning it. Now let's go up from there. Commit to someone that you will do it. You're 65% more likely. God, that's crazy. You're only 65% likely to achieve your goal if you commit to someone. But if you have a specific accountability appointment with someone you've committed to, you are 95% likely to achieve that goal. That's how powerful having a coach or having some sort of accountability partner is. Okay? Having that set plan, that set date, and having someone who will hold you accountable, that is the way to go. All right? Don't leave it up to 50-50. Don't just plan how to do it and see if you'll follow through with it. Have that accountability. All right? And then lastly, I just wanted to touch on track your progress. Like I mentioned, actually track your progress to see if you're improving. Weigh yourself. I like 2 times per week, maybe like a Wednesday and a Sunday or something like that. Don't get discouraged by the scale. It fluctuates like crazy, but you just want to look at trends throughout the day. Use it as a tool. Take photos the first of the month. You're going to see changes in photos. And then track your weights that you're using in your workouts. That's a great way to track your strength to see if you're getting stronger. And then some resources here. I don't know if you want to screenshot this really quick, but I've got some home workouts and other workouts and a whole bunch of stuff on my YouTube page right there. It's youtube.com/@JeffNewmanFitness. I don't know why, but there's that. And then I do have a little offer here. If you've hung around for this presentation, this offer is out right now. You get 2 weeks free of my 6-week challenge. The challenge includes workouts either at home or if you're around the Petaluma area, you can always come to the gym. Plus nutrition coaching, one-on-one nutrition coaching, and the accountability. Bam, there's your 3 right there. The plan, the accountability, and the exact dates that you can actually do it. All in one right there. All right, so this concludes my presentation Let me double check to make sure I answered all those questions that people had. I think I did. And that's it, guys. Those are the keys right there. That's the keys how you're going to get results. If you can follow those in 2023, you're going to get results. All right. And if you need help getting there, I can help you out. Another coach can help you out. I don't care, but find the help to actually do it. Let's make 2020. Well, first, let's finish 2022 strong. Let's make 2023 our fittest year yet. And I will see you guys for the next presentation. See you later.